welcome to Silicon Valley. So why should you listen to me? Part of it is I can speak your language because I was raised on the East Coast, so I get the culture. But in order for you to understand my perception of Silicon Valley, this very unique ecosystem and culture, you have to understand where I came from. So here's how I spent most of my time in Washington, D.C. I worked quite closely with a woman by the name of Dr. Julianne Malveaux. We spent a lot of time on air together, and we wrote a book together. And this is what we did.
All these pet projects. Pork. 2-month fetus. Not a 2-month fetus, not a 4-week fetus. Let's be real clear. And don't talk about my mama girl.
The fact that this president has diminished this White House.
You got the think tank, you got the magazine, and you're all gang up. You got all those blondes who do talk shows.
Fidel Castro is a very evil.
Oh, get off as an evil person.
Julianne and I wrote this book together called Unfinished Business, and we kind of did a back and forth on the political issues facing women. And we had Soledad O'Brien write the foreword because we appeared on her show on MSNBC quite often. And so she spoke about a particular day that we were both wearing red, and it was August of 1998, 95% humidity in Washington, D.C. We showed up early on a Sunday morning, and we both must have been just revved up for some reason. And this is what Soledad O'Brien had to say from this segment when we appeared on her show. And I quote, she said, "The interview began smoothly. Each woman, dressed somewhat dramatically in bright red, was well-spoken and gracious, making a point, and then allowing the other one to respond. The genial tone lasted for about 10 seconds. Then the gloves came off, sparks started to fly. Julianne and Debra tried to out-talk and out-debate and sometimes just plain drawn out each other on every point. It was evident how passionately they felt about their positions and crystal clear just how much they disagree. I made several futile attempts with questions, but it was as if they had forgotten they were on television. They debated ideologies, the law, matching each other point for point. My producer contemplated unplugging them, killing their mics, just so I could get a word in edgewise. For an anchor woman, it was chaos. But for our audience, it was not only great television, but an illuminating debate. So I laugh at that now because that's a me I hardly recognize. Because in Silicon Valley, things just don't operate that way. So it was just my strongest attribute in 18 years of living in Washington, D.C. was not that I worked on Capitol Hill, not that I worked in the White House, not that I served as a political commentator or became a best-selling author. It was that I had mastered the art of war. I learned how to withhold information and go after my enemy when my enemy was most vulnerable, going for the jugular. And I got to tell you, those skills did not serve me well in Silicon Valley because it is such a uniquely, just a dichotomy from that.